Is Bidenomics putting you at risk? Well, first of all, what the heck is Bidenomics? Well, we're talking about the policies, the economic policies that have been implemented during the Biden administration era, which of course have been very difficult for most of us to survive. Now, during the first part of his administration, when he took over during the pandemic and they were pumping trillions of dollars into the system, well, things were generally pretty good. However, those policies have quickly turned into nightmares as we've seen inflation raging high. And now as they're trying to crush inflation, it's only making problems worse. Of course, one of the ways they want to crush inflation is by crushing the markets. They want to make you feel poor, make your house feel poor, make your retirement account feel poor, but also the Bidenomic economic policies also include very, very damaging things, including shutting down our energy, outsourcing our energy needs to other countries, putting policies into place that push the price of gas up by forcing them to use additives in the gas, using additives in the gas that we don't have supplies of, by restricting new investments into these things that would help us bring the prices down. Now, these Bidenomics, these economic policies under the Biden administration are disastrous and they are putting you at risk. At least that's what people say. Let's take a look at this. It says nearly half, 50%, small businesses fear shutting down amid elevated inflation. So inflation's raging high, of course, 9.1% is the last reading, the last CPI print, CPI print. Of course, we know that we're way higher. If we go back to the way we measured inflation back in the 80s, we're over 20% inflation at this time. But this is causing businesses to shut down or fear of being shut down. It says nearly half of American small business owners say that they are at risk of closing down this fall. Now, if you're concerned about the economy and you're concerned about employment, wouldn't we want businesses to stay open so people can keep those jobs? The answer would be yes, I would think so, right? Of course, we want our GDP growth to go, right? So GDP now for 2 quarters has gone down, which means we're technically in a recession. We want our growth to go up, our GDP to grow up, our gross domestic product go up, but we need businesses in order to do that. We need businesses in order to keep those people working, to keep unemployment low. But yet here we are, half of business owners say they're at risk of closing down this fall. 47% of small business owners say their businesses are at risk of closing by fall of 2022 unless economic conditions improve significantly, unless the Biden economic incentives improve significantly. That's up 12 percentage points from last summer. So 12% more people feel they're at risk of shutting down than they did just a year ago. Even bigger problems, it says 60% of retailers are at risk, along with 52% in construction, 51% in the automotive sector, and 50% of restaurant owners. So it's bigger in some categories. 60% of retailers think they're going to be shut down. That's small businesses. That's communities. That affects real estate, that affects your jobs, that affects everything. 52% in construction. I think a lot of people will anticipate that with houses slowing down. But think about the downstream effects of that. So these people in construction hire a lot of people, they buy a lot of equipment, they make payments on that equipment, on their offices, on their trucks. Of course, if they're not using that, then there's less people buying all types of supplies. Think of the downstream effects of that. It says those tough economic conditions include soaring inflation. So the toughest economic condition we have is soaring inflation, which is, again, is a result of trillions of dollars of economic stimulus, as well as putting policies in place that restrict free markets and make things go up. Prices go up for a lot of things, which is why CPI is a stupid thing to even measure in the first place. There's trillions of prices, and there's trillions of reasons why those prices could go up. Sure, printing money is one of those big things. I've talked about this extensively. I can break it down in another video if you want. You can leave me a comment down below. However, even just government policies on their own can cause prices to go up. So when you restrict investment into natural gas and oil, what do you think happens? Well, we get less of it, which means prices go up. When you make it more expensive for them to operate, making them buy arbitrary credits to operate, for example, that pushes their prices up. So there's lots of government policies. Most government policies are inflationary, and that is what's causing the problem, inflation. So if they wanted to solve inflation, they should be focused on bringing more supply, which would include, taking the boot off the neck of average people, taking some of these costs off of their neck so they can lower their prices down, bring inflation down. We saw the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, Producer Price Index rose 11.3%, nearly the highest ever recorded. Now, it's important to understand the CPI is a lagging indicator. It tells us long after what has already happened. The Producer Price Index tells us what's going to happen. It's a leading indicator because if the prices to produce things go up, then we know eventually the price that you pay as a consumer is going to go up. And we saw it rose the highest ever recorded. Prices also hit record highs for regular and diesel gas in June. Yeah, no surprise. When the price of gas goes up, everything goes up because everything has to move. Everything has to be delivered, shipped, whatever. Everything goes up when the price of diesel and gas goes up, which of course it's happening. Looking at different states and provinces, small businesses in Colorado, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Texas are struggling the most. We see that here. It says a survey showed that 35% of U.S. small business owners could not pay their rent in full or on time in June. So it's one thing where 50% feel, are afraid they're going to go out of business. We're saying 35% said they can't even pay their rent on time. So this isn't 50% feel, they're afraid, they're worried. No, this is 35% that are in danger right now. They're falling behind. It's a big problem. Most small business owners attribute this worsening situation to record-breaking inflation, surprise, surprise, which includes escalating gas, labor, and supply costs. So their costs have gone up, but they can't pass those costs back onto their consumers. So gas prices, obviously, labor prices going up, and the cost to get those supplies, those manufacturing index prices, the supply costs going up. It says more alarming, as if we need even more bad news, 63% of transportation small businesses couldn't afford June rent. So 63% of businesses in the transportation sector, 63%, 6 out of 10 can't afford their rent. It's no shock to learn that 76% of this group said gas prices have had a very significant negative effect on their businesses. But Biden would tell you, hey, you're doing your part. Don't worry, your business going out of business and, ruining your chance to provide for your family and your loved ones, it's a necessary sacrifice because of, the Russia-Ukraine situation. It has nothing to do with that, and even if it did, I don't believe that sacrifice is worth it for me and my family. Is it worth it for you and your family? I think a better way to do would be let's try to get as much oil out of the ground as we can. Let's try to bring the cost down for the Americans as low as we can. Let's bring the cost of gas as low as we can down for everybody. Of course, the Energy Secretary of the United States says that no, we're not going to do that. These high gas prices are necessary for this transition. To transition you can't afford gas, shut up. Buy an $80,000 electric vehicle instead. That's their answer. 76% of the group said it's the gas prices is what's driving them out of business. 88% of small businesses are concerned a recession is around the corner. That means they spend less money. That means there's less money going into your business, which means you have less money. And it becomes this spiral effect that goes down the drain really, really quickly. That's a poll. 88%. 63% of small businesses in transportation think they're going out of business. Over 50% of other small businesses think they're going out of business. What do you think? I'd love to see your comments down below to see if this poll is accurate or not. Yes, we are in danger of going out of business, or no, we're not. You can leave me a comment down below. Of course, as always, give me a thumbs up on this video if you like it. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you know when I put new videos out. And that's what I got. All right, to your success. I'm out. Since you've stayed to the end, I know you like this video, which means you're probably gonna really like this video right here and this video right here.